everybody. Welcome to your very first Patreon secret segment.
Ooh.
Wait, wasn't the balloon animals the first secret segment?
No, that was a Patreon exclusive video for all patrons. This is a special tier of Patreon reward.
The more you know.
Ooh.
So thank you so much to everybody who's watching this and listening to this. That obviously means that you are supporting us on Patreon, and we are incredibly grateful for your support and for you being part of our Patreon community. Thank you so much. So this month for the secret segment, we decided to talk about, quote, Pokemon bullshit. So
bad.
if you're like me, you've never played a fucking Pokemon game. You've maybe played 15 minutes of Pokemon X. Not speaking from personal experience or anything.
15 minutes is like long enough for you to get your starter and then like
And then like
leave.
walk
around.
into the grass.
Yeah.
for
Walk
the
into
first
the
time.
one grass.
Pretty
Run
much.
into a Pidgey.
I think
Fight
I
one
think I
trainer.
discovered
Yeah.
one Pokemon. I have played Pokemon Go, which I think technically counts as a Pokemon game. It was made by, Niantic. So the Pokemon company Nintendo have made most of the Pokemon games. So, ladies, we decided to make this secret segment about Pokemon because we all have a varying degree of opinion. Some of us love Pokemon. Some of us used to love Pokemon but are now in withdrawal and hate Pokemon.
Some of us are
Some
enraged.
of us are indifferent to Pokemon. I think all of us as gamers have come into contact with Pokemon in some shape or another.
Yeah,
so let's
of course.
first talk about the word Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Pocket
I
monster.
said this wrong for so long.
Pokemon?
Pokemon is what I used to say. And man, the internet comments tore me a new one.
Oh, I'm sure.
Pokemans.
I can see those
Pokemon.
comments.
But I never said
Pokemans.
Pokemon. I'm not some random newscaster from, Podunk,
Pokemans.
wherever.
Pokemans.
My mom still calls it Pokemon. That's really sweet. It's cute.
Technically, it's Pokemon, but no one says that.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
I usually say Pokemon.
That's what they say in the
Pokemon.
song,
But you just
right?
say
Yeah,
fast,
it's a
so it,
great
like,
song.
Pokemon.
kind of goes blurry. Blurry.
So
It goes blurry.
before we get into the rage behind
Oh
Pokemon,
God. It's
I want to talk a little bit about my experience with the Pokemon franchise. So I had the opportunity to do a special video for Gamer Next Door Weekly last year when Pokemon Go was first released, and they were doing Poke Crawls.
Oh, I did this with you.
Yeah, so
I was
Alexa,
there.
Alexa
I
Ray
was there.
co-hosted with me, and I said I called her up and I was like, hey, I'm doing this video for Playboy Gaming, and I need an expert with me to come on this Poke Crawl. I'm not joking when I say there were thousands of people
So
on
many
the
people.
streets of San Francisco crawling across the city.
Not crawling.
No, like pub crawling.
Right.
Walking. Not on their hands and knees. Yes, thank you for
And it was-
clarification.
God damn it.
And there
Sammer.
were two start. It was like one start was at the Embarcadero, and one was like in
Dolores
in
Park.
Dolores Park in the Mission. And there were just like crowds and crowds and crowds of people, and people had dressed up, and one guy had a giant speaker and was playing the Pokemon theme on it, and like
That would get old real
it was
fast.
it was no, it
Actually, it was really
no,
cool.
It was crazy
because we only
cool
ran
at
into him
first.
every once in a
Oh.
while because of the way, because people would stop at various bars where there were gyms or where there were
themed drinks.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
or where somebody had dropped a lure or things like that. And so it was really a fantastic experience talking to people about their love for this franchise, which has spanned decades, and talking to people about how they came to love this franchise as kids and why they were so excited about Pokemon Go. And it was a really big eye-opener for me, who was a diehard Mario girl growing up. Mario was my Nintendo #1. I never really got into Pokemon. And so now when you guys went on your haunted sandcastle rant,
God damn it.
I didn't really understand. So let's get into it.
The haunted sandcastle specifically, or what led up to the haunted sandcastle meltdown that I had in the car on the way to see Wonder Woman?
I think we need to build into that.
Build a
Steimer,
sandcastle?
Tell me, what is your Pokemon experience?
So when I was a wee lass,
When I was a young warthog.
oh nice. So my sister and I, all we had, well, that's not all we had, but
All we had were Pokemon.
all we had, like, right, like we're just
And the
starving
open
in the streets, but we have a
sky.
Game Boy. So we both had Game Boys because we would have fought real bad if there was only one. And we each had our own copy of Pokemon. We had Red and we had Blue. and we would each play through the entire game, and then we would swap. Even though it is basically the exact same game, it did not matter. And
that whole thing is dumb. We'll talk about that later.
it is at this point, I could do without it. Just make one. But so I grew up loving this game because it was sort of our comfort blanket. So we would often go down to see my grandparents in Oregon, and that's an 8-hour drive from the Seattle-ish area. It's not really, anyways. And all we had was our little Pokemon. So we'd take them everywhere. My mom hated it, even though she was the one who gave it to us. So I don't know how she could
Moms are weird.
How she could be mad at that. I'm like,
so
this
what were
is
you
your
playing
doing.
it on? Game Boy?
Game Boy. We brought our Game Boys everywhere.
I also loved my Game Boy.
Everywhere. And that was one of the 3 games we had for it. And it was pretty much all we did. So we had Pokemon, and we had Kirby, and then we had A Bug's Life.
Oh my God.
Great Disney movie.
Great movie. Terrible game. I don't even think we didn't even make it past. We played it for like 20 minutes. There was this one part we couldn't figure out. We stopped playing.
Old games.
We were dumb children. But so for me, Pokemon always has a really soft spot in my heart because that was the thing we played all the time, and it's like the one thing that I could really relate to with my sister on, and so it's sort of a bonding point there. I will agree with you that it's gotten out of hand.
Out of hand is a light way of putting it.
It's gotten a bit ridiculous, and I am okay with acknowledging that. But that being said, I got really excited when they said they were coming out with a new one for the Switch. So
that's pretty great. I hope it's not bullshit.
I hope that there's not a Pokemon is a stuffed animal of a carcass that's been captured by a ghost.
I'm pretty sure there are carcass Pokemon or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be there.
I need to ask a really random question in the middle of this that we might have to cut out of the secret segment. John, did we leave the sliding door open out there? Are they both inside? Okay. I heard a noise outside, and I'm worried that my 2 cats have somehow finagled their way outside.
Panicked mom.
PA, can you check?
Meowths.
Could you
go
please
get
go
the
check
meowths?
on the meows?
Well, there's also Persian.
Continuing.
Anyway, Steimer, I didn't mean to cut off your story.
It's totally fine. I mean, that was basically the end of it, so you did good.
So that's probably what I hear, him meowing like a jerk. Brittany Brombacher.
Yes, Andrea.
Tell me when you first started playing Pokemon.
Okay. I was 6. I think I was 6. And I had a Game Boy, and my cousin had a Game Boy, so I had Pokemon Blue. He had Pokemon Red. I never finished the game. I never finished Pokemon Blue, actually, up until probably 6 years ago for the first time, because I was getting stumped because I didn't understand that you needed to gain gym badges so your Pokemon would listen to you. I had a Venusaur that hated my guts, and I never understood why it wouldn't freaking listen to me. So it was very
such
sad.
a jerk, Venusaur.
It was. I didn't understand it, and so I stopped playing. But more than the games themselves, I was a huge collector of the cards. I still have my original binder with all my original handwriting.
Oh man!
Like I made a binder. It's actually, if you look at any of my YouTube videos, you can see the binder in the background of my videos. And yeah, like that's what I would do is I would collect all the cards, and I have like a binder probably like this thick of it, and I have literally like cases and cases of cards that I don't have room for.
So were you more drawn to the character design then, or the monster design rather?
I think it was kind of like children's gambling at the time. Because
still
every time,
is.
every time you open up a pack, it was like, okay, what's my rare going to be? And I still remember when I got my first Charizard, when I got Mewtwo, when I got Alakazam. It was incredible. But other than that, the next Pokemon game that really grabbed my attention, Pokemon Stadium was a flop in my opinion. Unfortunately, didn't live up to what I thought it would be. But Pokemon Snap.
Oh my God! Where's the sequel? Give me the sequel. Give it. The Switch was like made for Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, that's a snare. And so after Pokemon Snap, I've played all the handheld games since then. I never finished them because I'm so burned out of the formula. Now I love Pokemon, obviously, but the formula needs like a huge revamp, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very, very excited for the Switch RPG. But it's just something really nostalgic, something near and dear. One of my favorite things to do when Jason and I travel, we love to bring the Super Game Boy. And we love to play Pokemon.
What? You still have a functional Super Game Boy?
Oh, girl.
You don't?
No, of course I don't. What do you mean you don't?
You don't.
I have one.
You pauper.
Okay.
But it's just something fun to go to little like
Gotta find you
podunk
one.
towns and like get their little like 27-inch flat screen TVs they have in the hotel room and pump up. That makes no sense. Fire up Pokemon.
Pump
Blue.
up the Pokemon.
Woo! Just because it's such a nostalgic game and it's just kind of timeless. The other ones, don't really care about too much. But Pokemon obviously is something I hold near and dear because I grew up with it.
And as you've already talked about on this show, spent a bunch of money playing
Oh,
Pokemon
yeah.
Go.
Oh, Pokemon Go.
If you missed that episode, you should download it.
Still mad at you.
Alexa Ray, you also
I-
played Pokemon from a young age.
I have very strong feelings about Pokemon. Pokemon was my first love, and it burned me worse than any man ever has. I also was six. Also started playing it. Played it religiously. Maxed out, all my Pokemon. Got them to level 100. Really trained. Had like the best team. Like played these games like many, many, many times over. And at my elementary school, it became popular, and we were only allowed to play our Game Boys at recess outside. We couldn't play them inside. So at recess, everyone would clump into these groups and like Pokemon battle. And I became like the playground terror because I had the best team. I had a Charizard, a Venusaur, and a shit.
Wartortle?
Oh no, that's
Oh.
the. And a Blastoise.
Blastoise.
I had
sorry,
I had all three starters. I had I had all the rare birds. I had everything, and I would just
Articuno, go.
yes, and I would just trounce everyone, and I was like the person to beat. And as we got a little older, I remember very, very distinctly, by the time I was in 6th grade, none of the other girls in my class were playing video games or playing Pokemon. So I was that weird girl that was
Girls
still
don't
playing
play video
Pokemon.
games.
Yes. Middle of nowhere,
Maybe
Connecticut.
it's because you beat the crap out of them.
Right. So none of the other girls were playing, and they would spend their recess like sitting against the wall talking about their manicures or whatever. And I'd be like sitting in the dirt with the guys being like, fuck you, and like beating the shit out of them with my Pokemon.
As a 6th grader?
You said
As
fuck
a
you.
6th grader,
Jeez.
I got called to the principal's office more than one
Yes,
time for saying something
Pikachu.
terrible.
Wait, did you actually say the F word? at
Yes.
that age?
Oh, I've been swearing since
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been like 6.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's
Oh, I did
Have
not.
you met me?
my whole family and
So-
I. It's
I,
great.
I have met you, but I didn't know you when you were 6.
No, my military mom would not allow me to
No.
swear.
So-
Yeah, my dad was military too, so.
TLDR, into middle school, like I was still on the Pokemon train. I loved it, and I was again one of the only like girls in my circle that were playing. So I like was already sort of the odd girl. I got bullied a lot in school, surprise. So I was like already like the odd girl out doing my thing. And then a bunch of really weird Pokemon got put in the game, like a literal bag of trash.
Wait, so
And-
at what point did
that's
Pokemon
wild.
burn you? At what point did you see it start to jump the shark for you?
So when I get into something, and you know this by our conversations about, Lord of the Rings and Tolkien and me with Final Fantasy, like, and Fire Emblem, when I get into something, I get into something. Like I read like all the Pokemon literature. I could tell you like the height and weight of any Pokemon that you asked me. Like I was all
How
in it to
tall is
win it.
Pikachu?
I forget.
Oh.
I saw
Excuse me.
I
you just
saw
said-
every film. I saw every film. I had like the rare Mew card that they gave you when you went to like the first thing. I knew all the freaking lore and everything. And then I forget which game it was that came out, but I remember looking at them, and I had always thought of Pokemon as like, these are these organic creatures that are out in the world and you catch them and they're yours. And then I began to see Pokemon that were like not creatures, like
Ice cream cones.
like ice cream cones
Yeah.
and literal bags of trash. And I was like, I don't get it.
What's
And then
the trash one called?
there's Trubbish, which is on the screen right now. And then there is
Oh,
Garbodor.
look at his little teeth.
And then there's
They're cute.
Garbodor, which is
pretty
like a
cute,
giant.
though.
Kind of cute
He
for
is a
trash.
cute-
Yeah, but it's a literal bag of trash, which is something that's manufactured by humans and isn't organically found in nature. Why is it a Pokemon?
It is now organically found in nature because we keep putting it there.
Trash is
so
there.
I distinctly remember a moment where I think I was like maybe 13 or 14, and I had a thought, and I was like,
Trash can't be sentient.
I was like, no, I was like, but wait, well, I was thinking about this, and I was like, I don't get it, and then
Radioactive trash,
I
maybe.
thought, wait a minute. In the world of Pokemon, there are the Pokemon you fight, and then there are the animals that you eat, and some of them look very similar. Because there's like a Pidgey, and you fight with it, but you never eat a Pidgey.
Oh, you
But you
might.
would like eat a
That'd be
chicken.
delicious.
And my like 13, 14-year-old brain couldn't handle it anymore and imploded, and I backed out of Pokemon hardcore and went, I can't do this anymore. There's like 400 of you. It's not fun anymore. It's too much. I can't do it. And I walked away, and I was very, very sad, and I felt like I had like lost a part of my life because Pokemon was such a big part of my life. I remember I took all of my Game Boys and my cartridges and I was like, fuck this. And my younger brother, who's 10 years younger than me, started picking up my games, and he named all of his Pokemon the same names that I named my Pokemon. Like my Pidgey was Chunk. He named it Son of Chunk. So they were all like son of my sister. And he named the main character after me and the rival after like my ex-boyfriend at the time, which was like really cute for like a child to do.
Your 14-year-old boyfriend.
Follow you
the
around,
guy you
taunting
held hands with on the playground or whatever.
Oh no, girl! I
So
had my
I
first
had-
like tongue kiss at 14. I was into
What?
it.
Oh boy.
I was not the guy. Like I didn't open my mouth, so I just got tongue on my face.
And it was like super slimy.
and
This
it was.
could be a
I was
good
like,
segment.
you just licked my face.
Our first makeout session.
Ew. So
What's happening? There's so many Pokemon on screen right now.
I don't even know what that one is. That weird one that looks kind of like a
Like
It looks like something from
deformed
Earthbound.
Squirtle.
like a deformed Squirtle. Yeah.
Like a Squirtle that didn't quite
It
develop.
looks like maybe like a fan version of a Squirtle.
Like
no,
a derpy
it's
one.
an actual Pokemon. I just don't know what it is.
Oh god.
Oh, he's
No,
big.
no. Get it off me, please. Get it off. Get it off.
Look how happy he is, though.
He is very derpy.
Yeah, he's coming for me.
But yeah, I let it go because then you have things like the haunted sandcastle, which I had a complete meltdown over on the way to go see Wonder Woman because I couldn't wrap my head around.
So we're in the car. We made a
This
on
is
the
the haunted
podcast,
sandcastle.
we
for
made a
anyone
pit
who's
stop
wondering.
to
Oh, Jesus.
to pick up some mimosas because when you're going to see Wonder Woman at 9:50 in the morning, you have to have a thermos of mimosas to get you through it. And Alexa just went on a tear about Pokemon. So what pissed you off so much about what is this Pokemon's name? Sandygast?
Palo sand.
Pal?
Oh yeah,
Well,
it's
no, no,
like
no,
a pile of sand.
That's the English. Can you look up the Japanese name?
pile of sand.
Because that's the English localization. When the Pokemon Company localizes Pokemon, like the names are not the
Palosand.
same.
Palosand.
Shiro Destin.
Shiro
Are
Desuna?
you kidding me?
What does that mean?
What does Shiro Desuna mean?
It's like a play on like it's sand.
Oh.
Shiro Destina.
It's sand.
Wait,
Also,
so
like-
this is Sandy
also,
Gas.
like-
This is the other one, right?
Is this the baby version?
This
This
is
is
Palo-
like
Sandy gas.
This is Palo Sand. Okay. So
Palo Sand. So Palo Sand, they
Palo Sand is the
they
evolved
localize
form.
them with like weird like puns. But we had been talking about this on a previous podcast, and I kind of went off, and it kind of stuck with me because I get mad about weird things, as you all know. So I was really
Yes.
mad about the Sandcastle Pokemon, and I think the question was like, is it a sandcastle that's haunted, or like
No,
how
I
does
made
it
up a backstory
how does it get built?
on how I made up the story of the haunted sandcastle, and actually
it
most of
was
it turned out
right.
to be correct.
So
which
you
I was bullshitting.
recount.
So I think my version was that the haunted sandcastles would kill people and then use that soul, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically
right,
about
yeah.
murdering people and taking their souls and becoming a sandcastle that way, and that they would reproduce by getting hands, by forming hands and building other sandcastles that then they would kill other people for and get their souls.
Okay.
into the new ones.
Sandygast is born from grudges that seep into the sand, such as from Pokemon that suffer defeat in battle. It can suck the life force of people or Pokemon through its mouth.
This is bullshit.
So it's Kirby
Kirby,
on
yeah.
crack.
But like it eats the souls of people, right? Didn't we talk about this before?
This is
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. But it was a joke
it
then, and
kills
now it's
and-
real.
Yeah, it kills Pokemon. What it does is it kills Pokemon, and then like that ill will of the Pokemon that's been killed by a fucking sandcastle, then becomes a sandcastle because it's so mad.
So the sandcastle Pokemon and the trash bag Pokemon.
I hate this. I hate this.
Are
Okay,
weird,
then.
right?
Buried beneath the
Buried beneath the castle are masses of dried up bones from those whose vitality it has
So someone's
drained.
burying bones on the beach, and that's fucked up in its own sense.
Yeah.
But let's for a second take a pause on like the weird and wild world of current Pokemon.
Okay.
I want to know who these trainers are. What's the deal with the Pokemon trainers?
They're children whose parents don't want to raise them anymore.
Right. Pretty much.
So this is problematic, right?
This is a lot of RPGs.
Are they
though.
like the
You're a
Lost
young
Boys?
teen person,
Sorry.
and you go out
Brittany
into
has
the
done it.
world.
Trainers are like Like you start off as a 10-year-old and your mom's like, it's time for you to go walk the world by yourself and find Pokemon for this creepy old professor that like doesn't feel like doing it himself. So you literally just go out into the world and you fight other children. And what are your parents
She's
doing?
like, get lost, beat it.
And you fight grown-ups.
And you fight grown-ups.
Like Lieutenant Surge or Sergeant Surge, whatever his name is.
He's kind of pervy.
He's
Lieutenant
like
Surge.
30 years old or 40 years
He's
old. And
gross.
you're 10. And you're like, I'll get you with my Pokemon.
It's very it's a world in which parents just don't feel like the best way to raise their children is to send them out into the world in the service of like creepy older men to basically have dog fighting rings with small creatures.
Oh
True.
no, Guy Fieri, Poke Trainer is back.
But I'm going to say I've seen a lot of JRPGs do the you are younger than you should be.
Right.
Go off on your own, young child. It will be okay. And it's
This
like,
seems like a JRPG
It's just a
thing,
JRPG
though,
thing.
right?
Right. But you're literally
Britt, are you
part
okay?
of animal fighting rings.
That's
you are
true.
it's
cruel.
enslaving small creatures. Some of them like you, some of them don't, and you make them fight other creatures.
and there's in the anime because I watched that for a while.
It was even good for a while.
The premise or part of the premise is like Pikachu doesn't enjoy being in the Pokeball, so he's usually out with Ash.
Yeah.
and so the thought, like,
Well, of
that
course
means
he doesn't like being
no,
in
but
there.
this is the point. Like, so you are literally just you are enslaving little creatures. You are putting them in tiny little boxes, and you break them out only to fight.
I highly encourage you to read the theories of what happens when a Pokemon goes inside of a Pokemon.
Oh, I've read those.
I
Those
think I've
make
read
me
some.
like
They make
just
me really
hurt.
sad.
Well, no, I mean, there are some theories where it's like, oh, yay, there goes your Charmander in this fiery hell-like atmosphere, and it loves it. You know, like, oh, it has a hammock. Oh, it has
But if that were
delicate
true,
chocolates. It's
Pikachu
happy.
would like to be out. Pikachu wouldn't have put that in the storyline that Pikachu doesn't like being in his box.
But you don't know why. Don't assume things.
It makes an
Pika,
ass
Pika.
of you and me, Steimer.
Pika Pika.
I mean, like, if that, like, if a Pokeball is some, like, amazing little paradise away from the world, like, fuck, I want to go in a Pokeball.
Yeah, where's the
Yeah.
human Pokeball?
Forget this. Bye.
They don't complain, though, which is like, why wouldn't they? I mean, Pikachu's like, fuck that. But all the other ones, they're like, oh,
Actually,
I'm so happy.
Ash usually carries a lot of them. Like, he has a little
They,
entourage.
like, yeah, they, like, hang out with him, which is weird, I guess.
So Ash has never aged, right? He's like the South Park kids. They're just like perpetually the same age.
Right, but his friends keep, like, going in and out. Like, he can't retain friends.
Between
Well,
seasons.
between
like, no,
seasons,
want to be
bye.
friends with Ash.
Nobody wants to stay friends with
What's
Ash.
happening on screen? I can't even
Nobody
right now.
likes Ash.
I don't like it. I
Oh
don't
my
like it at all.
gosh.
Yet nobody, he cannot maintain a relationship with normal human beings for longer than like 2 seasons.
So this is problematic. Then, yeah. No one at
What?
any point during all of the Pokemon adventures was like, maybe we should retire Ash. Maybe he should go away for a little while. Might bring up a new trainer. Obviously, there's more than just him as trainers. There's other
Right.
trainers too.
Right.
But he's like the definitive poster child for Pokemon.
Right. For some reason. I don't know.
why they decided to go with him.
They, of course, you know, I just rewatched actually all of the first season of the Pokemon anime like last year.
Just recently.
Yeah, like I rewatched it.
Okay.
It was fantastic.
The first season is
It's
really
so good. No, it's great. And then I watched the newer season, and it just kind of lacks that charm. You know, I mean, Ash
Yeah.
is still there. He, like you said, he hasn't aged one bit. He looks a little more HD, and his voice is a little different because I'm sure it's a different voice actor by this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I tried getting into it, but then like they have all like 800 Pokemon now, right?
Yeah, it's
like,
too many.
Yeah.
Like
It's hard
800.
to focus.
I don't know what any of them are, and I can't get into it, and it's just so like been there, done that. It's like
Here's
the video
Trash
game
and
series.
Trash Junior.
Trash and
Trash
Trash
Junior.
Junior.
there's the trash Pokemon. There's one that's a key ring, like a ring of keys. There's a sword. There's a pig with a spring on its butt.
Yeah.
Pig with
And
the spring on
then-
it, but it's fine. That's normal.
And then there's a bunch.
Is it though?
There's a bunch of
It's a
Pokemon
variation of a pig.
that they've made very humanoid-y. Like there's like a flower that like kind of looks like a woman, and there's
Is
just
that
like
the one that
oh,
people
yeah.
sexualize?
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
one. It's the one that people draw pictures of.
There's just
other
one?
people fucking it. There's
Yeah.
Pokemon that people want to fuck. That's when you need to stop making Pokemon. That's it.
I mean,
That's it.
People want to fuck
the
a lot of
internet is a
things.
weird, wide place.
Yeah.
Right, but it's Pokemon.
There's
As Andrea would say, this is problematic.
Yeah, there are 802 Pokemon in
many.
total, including Mega Evolutions and the
Whoa.
Alola forms.
Yeah,
Whoa.
the mega evolutions.
This is just a
are
sample.
Bullshit.
This is even not even close to all
There's
of them.
a lot.
The mega evolutions are bullshit because God damn it,
It's very pretty.
they're bullshit.
So many Pokemon.
I like them organized by color like that. It's very pleasing to the eye.
So it's like you have 800 Pokemon.
Don't look at them too closely, Lex. It's
What
fine.
the hell do you do with them at this point when you have this many Pokemon?
You fuck them apparently.
Whoa!
Okay,
Jeez.
you need to you can let this go. It's okay. You can calm down. So they've
Sandcastle,
created a
Andrea.
Pokedex
There's a sandcastle.
to organize all of these Pokemon, and to learn how to say their names correctly. I think what we no, don't ever Google that.
No, don't do it.
I think what we maybe need to do. Not during this segment, but potentially during another secret segment, or maybe during our Patreon exclusive live stream, is I could randomly select names of Pokemon
Yes.
from the Pokedex.
And then we have to describe them.
And then you can either have to describe them, or the goal is to pronounce them correctly.
Also,
Yes.
a fun variation of this would be like sort of 2 truths and a lie or 3 truths and a lie. Like there's some where like you
One
make
of these
them
is
up.
fake.
One of these is a fake Pokemon.
That would be a
That's
great
a good
game. Steimer, you're a genius.
That's a good drinking game.
Okay, ladies, we're going to need to wrap up this Pokemon bullshit segment for fear of going into the wee hours of the night. But, Steimer, what are your final Pokemon thoughts? Will you play the new Pokemon RPG that they announced at E3? Are you planning to pick up Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon?
No,
Or are you like,
no to Ultra Sun
I'm
and
done?
Ultra Moon, but I am curious to see the Switch one because, like I said, I like using my Switch as a giant Vita. So I'm very like I would be. Depends on what the starters
You know,
are.
you could just call it a big 3DS.
I don't
That's
want to.
essentially what it is.
It's a Vita to me. I don't know why. I have a 3DS I have never used. It makes no sense.
I wanna
don't ask
touch
me
it.
why. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see what they come up with, whether or not they're going to iterate on the formula, and if so, how they would update it and or change it. If the starters are super cute, I'll at least play it for a little while. I don't know if I'll beat it, but maybe.
Okay. So I wanted this game for like 21 years now. So of course I'll be playing it. I have very, very high expectations, and I don't know if it's even possible for Nintendo to hit all of them. But to answer your question, absolutely I will be playing it. Stakes are high. There are a lot of things that could go very, very well, and a lot of things they could screw up. I'm going to, thank you, Sammer. I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic.
Are you playing Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? That was
No.
like, okay.
No, I already played
No.
Moon, Sun and Moon.
Alexa,
If
can your rage be quenched?
I mean, like, if like, I'm not gonna go buy it, but if someone like gave me Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, I will play the whole thing and chronicle it. I just don't want to go spend my money on a Pokemon game that I know is gonna burn me. However,
Don't worry, I'll take care of this for you.
I will play the Pokemon coming out for Switch because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I just think that sounds really cool.
Well, maybe we can all play it together and you can shepherd me through a full Pokemon playthrough experience.
I'm gonna have a full team of just trash Pokemon, and I'm just gonna be called the Trash Lady.
Nice. There was a segment on IGN that I did. It was supposed to be called Catch 'em All, like Christine Catches Them All. And I was supposed to catch even just the first 150 Pokemon. I did not do it.
It's hard to do that, to be fair. It's
Yeah.
very hard. What's going on here?
I don't know.
Our unnamed producer, if you've watched any of our Twitch streams, has been
Going ham with
littering
the
our
gifts.
video
Cut us off now.
with Pokemon. So once again, if you guys have not seen any of our video versions of the podcast, youtube.com/what'sgoodgames. It's worth your time. Trust me.
Yep.
So I think that's going to probably wrap it up for this secret segment. Again, thank you so much to everyone who has supported us on Patreon. We heart you guys. We appreciate you. If you guys have feedback or if you have suggestions for what you'd like future secret segments to be like, let us know. Leave us feedback on this unlisted video, which, by the way, probably don't share because it's just for you. You paid for it, so keep it secret. And you can either leave us messages on this video or you can leave us messages on Patreon as well. So, ladies, thanks for the Pokemon memories.
Pokemon bullshit.
Pokemon!
Yeah.